I dropped my coffee. Well, we gotta go live on this mug again, so we gotta talk about some stuff. Yes. So everybody is always talking about how bad landlords are, but that's not true with all landlords. Some of us are good. So I want to address that. Not all of us are bad. I'm gonna let y'all hear a video of a tenant sabotaging setting up a landlord, but then when things go south, when the person realized they've been played by the tenant to get them to lie to authorities. Listen in. Let's see what they have to say. Let me see if I can get it to play for y'all.
I got it. And I tell my children the same thing. No matter what happens between you and a landlord, okay? You don't leave your house messy. You don't leave your yard messy, because that reflects back on you. Obviously, somebody came here after I left, and you know the area, and tore my electric all day long. I didn't touch that. I wouldn't do that.
But that was your situation when you live here. What's the reason for that grass being high like that?
There's no reason, and I didn't have my grass high.
So why she told you all these excuses and lies on me? Why is that grass?
Because it was your grass.
What does it?
Okay, so the tenant tells the lady, this gets real juicy, guys. Gets juicy. So we're evicting a tenant, and we're evicting the tenant because of a number of reasons. And as most of y'all have been following me, they're like, Regina, what's the deal with the unit? When is it coming available? So I'm trying my best to tell y'all when they're coming available. But there was a couple of them, and we just got one where we just got everything finalized, and now we just have to wait for the courts to sign off on it to switch everything over, and then we'll be able to work on that. But that was today too. So today I've been with lawyers and courts and all day, and honey, it gets juicy. So this tenant has not cut her grass in who knows how long, and refuses to cut it because she wants the landlord to come out and cut it because she doesn't own a lawnmower. However, in her lease, it says that she is supposed to cut her grass. Now that she's being evicted, she doesn't feel the need to cut the grass because she's being evicted. Now, Kent County planning says that the grass cannot be 12 inches, and if it is, the landlord is the one that gets written up or the fines, which is actually whoever owns the property. So if you manage your property, you get the paperwork and you have to give it to the owner. So that's one thing. So as you heard, the person admits, and I don't want to show the video because I don't want to show the lady's face, that the tenant tells her that she is not cutting the grass because it's not her grass. It's the landlord or the manager's grass. But she says that she tells her that she needs to cut the grass. Listen on.
I mean, you lived here too. Did you not cut the grass?
I cut the back line all the time, and it wasn't my responsibility.
She doesn't cut the back line.
I do.
We do.
I did.
So why is this grass so high like this?
I don't know. You should cut it because it looks awful.
Somebody needs to tell her then.
I told her.
You told her the grass will go for?
Weeks ago, I said, you need somebody to cut the grass because it looks awful.
And what she tell you?
She turned around and told me after you guys had an argument and everything, I have a little tiny piece of grass up there, that's all I have. I said, no, when you're renting a place, you're responsible for the grass. I did this. I did from road to road.
What I'm trying to tell you is don't believe everything she tells you.
You know,
did I not show you where the damage is to the trailers? What did she say? Who did the damage? So we were under the impression that even though cats are free roaming, they're technically she's saying they're her cats. So we were under impression that her animal.
You never did that to my trailer.
But did you not read what she said?
Yes, I see that.
And that's not all. There's a lot more, she says.
So the tenant begins to explain to us that pretty much that the unit is being damaged due to the fact that there's cats that roam through the streets. So she says, the cats are damaged in my trailer The cats are the reason why the trailer is being damaged. So we're like, huh? How is the cats damaging the trailer? So the lady that used to live there a long time ago that got evicted by another landlord previously before we got involved and started being in charge of the units, she came to get upset because she was upset that the lady had told her a whole bunch of lies, which we're going to get to that because, honey, this gets juicy, juicy. I never in my life knew that people would lie so bad. So I'm like, I always defend landlords and tenants because I see it going both ways. Landlords cannot tell the truth sometimes, and tenants don't tell the truth sometimes. But when you have people that are, um, how can I put it, standing behind you and know the facts or know what is true and what's not true, and they take the time out to record it and show proof of it, it gets to be a little chaotic. So when they asked the lady what happened to the trailer and how did the damages happen and all this stuff, she said, "Oh, the cats did it." Has anybody ever heard of cats denting up a home? And it's not like the cats were going underneath. The cats were actually supposedly jumping on top of the skirting on top and popping it open or popping it out, and they popped it out. So we asked her, and this is why I tell people you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention. So I'm gonna show you some of the things that was said. Um, why this happened. So this is what we got in the text message. This is what she was telling us was why the outside of the unit got damaged. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. So you can't always assume that when people are getting evicted, it's 100% the landlord. That's not true because it's very hard to find units, and most importantly, it's hard to find units that are reasonable. It's hard to find good landlords. It's hard to find places that have property like land where you can do a number of things. Um, that's just hard to find. I'm gonna keep it real. It's very hard to find, but it doesn't stop there. This lady goes on, but she's so stressed out now that she realized that she kind of committed a crime that she's like waiting for the girl to walk away all the way because the girl's standing out in pouring rain. That's what the noise you hear in the background. Watching and observing this lady. So when the lady leaves, or the tenant leaves, I should say, the lady does a shocking confession to us. But we're going to get there. Let's move on.
I want to see what the fines were on this property. Because Bob, I called him Rob. Bob left this property. He was here. He inspected this property the day I left.
But this is what I'm trying to tell you. You are not responsible for any fees. The landlord, not the landlord, the owner of the property.
But he should have been stuck with it, not you.
Just like her. Okay, you knew that car wasn't tagged. You seen it. You say you told her. What you say? You can't ride like that. It's illegal.
No, you get stopped.
Okay, but she knew this for over 3 months.
No.
And she did nothing. We didn't try to get no car towed. Now I'm in North Carolina.
Towed too, and my car too. I said, if they tow my car, somebody's going to get in trouble for that. See, code enforcement knows me very well. They won't touch my car. They know my situation. You know, that car there, all it needs is a muffler and it needs a battery.
But I
right down the road, but I can't afford it.
But didn't I show you my phone?
Yes.
Did you see where I called anybody?
No, you didn't. But that's what, she's saying.
But then you turn around and you said Haley tells you that I was trying to kill the cats and poison them. That's not true. I can show you messages where she tells me she's gonna kill them.
Why?
Because they were tearing up the trailer. You just seen it.
But they didn't tear up mine when I was living there.
But you read it, right?
Yeah.
You got eyes, right? You've seen it?
Yeah.
So why did she have you call the SPCA on me?
Well, she turned around and told me that this is what happened. If you ran up in the yard, you almost hit him.
What?
Yes. And then you got out of the car and you kicked him real hard. That's what was said.
So that's why you said I kicked the cat.
I'm going.
No.
Yes, that's what I was told.
So Hallie lied to you. She played you.
She said she ran up on him, almost ran him over. And when she got out of the car, she kicked him. That was me. That's what she told me. That's why I called the SPCA.
Because when they called me and they said, I was like, I don't even know who that person is. Then they said to me, I said, well, how do you get my number? I said, because nobody knows my number.
Haley knows your number.
That's how I knew Haley was involved.
I didn't know.
Haley said she didn't know who called the SPCA.
I did.
She said she had nothing to do with it.
Because she told me that you ran up on my cat and was ran him over, and then when you got out of the car, you kicked him really hard.
And you believed her.
Gotta take a chance, honey. There's nobody gonna hit my car, my cat, and everything. And I called the SPCA, and Haley turned around, and talked to him too. I said, I can't have anybody hurt the cat. I can't.
But yet you just seen a message where she said that the cats are doing all the damages. She's the one that wants the cats gone.
I gotta go ahead and book them.
All right, take care, babe.
You got my email.
I do. I'm gonna save it.
And give me those, what you got for.
Sue, listen to me.
I want to know.
Sue, it doesn't matter anymore.
It does me.
No, I paid for it.
It doesn't matter. It matters to me. Because you got fucked, and I want to know what's on that.
I'm studying getting that way. You see what Haley just did to me?
Yes, I know.
So I'm studying
I want to know, because if that is the truth, what they did to you, that is wrong, because it's not you, and somebody's going to step up.
Well, Haley's still doing stuff wrong to me. She just had you call the people on me. And nobody said.
Called today.
No, you didn't. But that's what I'm saying.
Else, he said somebody else called.
Who did?
The court.
I never. That's what I'm saying. Haley's telling y'all it's me, and it's not. Let me tell you something.
He's not allowed to give us the name. He reported that the tag and stuff like that, and then my car. Yes, that's what he reported.
Okay, but what they didn't tell you is that the dude that came out here to talk to me and Darlene, they had called him back and they got into an argument with him. I don't know what happened. They got into a big argument. The guy, whoever the guy was, no, them and the man that came here to talk to Darlene. So I didn't know nothing about it. He called me and said to me, do I have your permission to go onto your property for the violations of the property to correct them? I said, yes. I said, and I can show you a video where I tell him when he says about your car, I got a video. And I did a video and I sent it to court. I said, I have nothing to do with that.
Getting money. I'm trying to sell it.
Who?
My car. It's hard to let go because my mama was.
So this lady starts to spill her guts out and inform us of how she was told what to do by a tenant. So tenants are not telling the truth. They're falsifying, they're lying on landlords, they're making up stories, they're pulling innocent people that are involved. They're pulling people that are like 60, 70, 80 years old that are not really, they see people, they see the good in people and they're using them and manipulating them. So when it all came down and she realized from the messages and all this stuff, because I had to show her everything. I was like, look, lady, this is not true what you're hearing. I don't know what you're hearing, but it's not true. So I had to explain to her that none of it was true whatsoever. So then after that, she was like, well, she needed to wait for her to leave. Once she left to go get her some, it was easy for her to get the woman to do whatever because the woman is kind of homeless herself. She is homeless pretty much. She lives with someone, but she's pretty much homeless herself. And she was baiting her in by giving her free cigarettes and giving her little stuff like this because she know the lady didn't have money to buy cigarettes and stuff. So she played on her emotions and used her. And she knew that the lady was obsessed with the cats. So what she did was, while I was away in North Carolina, she lied and told the lady that I had did something. And then when the people came, yes, we had to defend ourselves to the, we had to prove to the police officers, to the SPCA. We had to prove that we didn't do any of the stuff that this lady said. I was trying to find it real quick so I could show you, Ashley. So we actually had to prove that it was a lie. So we actually contacted the SPCA, and when we contact them, they read over the text messages from me and the tenant. And when they read over the text messages from me and the tenant, they contact me back and said, "Hey, you know what? We can see now. This is okay. This is about her being evicted. You're free to go. You're fine. Blah blah blah." But it was crazy because we had to prove it. Like, we literally had to do so much to prove that we were who we were. Then it gets juicier. You got to tune in to part 2. When we start to go through the unit, and then how she starts to sabotage and damages the unit. All the time, we're sitting here patiently waiting on court 16, JP court 16, beautiful court. And the people in there are all over the place. I ain't going to tell you no lie. And I actually had to talk to them about it because I had to talk to them about a couple of things. First of all, I had to explain to them that y'all need to find a better system because it's not correct. And anybody can pretend to be the landlord and submit documents as the landlord as long as they have court numbers. And everything is public, so it's not hard to attain or to get. And that was an issue with our case that our tenant was able to successfully do. And when I asked the court, how was she able to do it? They got quiet. They said they didn't know. It never happened before. This was the first time in history that they had a tenant do documents and act and pretend to be the landlord, but try to submit evidence to make it look like they were the good guy. Tune in part 2, y'all.